All right, what's going on, everyone, and welcome back. I'm back with some more tips and predictions with my favorite fat homie, Kenny D. How are we
What's
going, mate?
cracking, lads? Can't wait.
Yes, so excited, especially after the big win. Come on now.
Oh, bro. Oh, that was incredible.
We have a lot to talk about, but we got the first game, an absolute cracking match. Thursday night, Brisbane versus Collingwood. Now, most people would straight away go, nah, Brisbane will get the easy win over the Pies here. But the Pies, out of like every team, have like one of the best records at the Gabba.
That is true.
So what are we saying here?
I reckon it might be a little bit of redemption from the Lions after last week where they played, well, this week where they played all right. They obviously didn't get the win. We didn't expect them to at Geelong. Uh, oh, I think Collingwood will have a response after this week, but if Collingwood had won this week, I might have said that Brisbane would lay it on a bit heavy and absolutely smack them. So I'm definitely going with Brisbane to get a win back because it looks like they're going to be top four.
Same. I agree. The Pies legitimately, I think, absolutely shocked everyone how like early they jumped out and just they really overperformed like straight away. And I think me and you, we didn't have them last or anything. We weren't like those other bozos, like whoever the other journos were that had them going last spot. But we definitely had them bottom six, and I 100% feel like that's where they're gonna remain.
Yeah. And like everyone, especially last week after they played so well against Geelong, everyone thought that they were the real deal,
Mm,
which I don't know if we'll read too much into that. We'll see as the season goes on. But yeah, obviously, if you're a Collingwood fan, you hope you're not expecting them to win every week. And as long as they put in some effort up at the Gabba, you'd be happy considering
yeah.
how the season started.
And I think the reason Geelong have had like one of the slowest starts to like a season in a while, like in saying that they still are 3-1, which is crazy. And it looks
Yeah.
like they've had a really slow start. The reason they've had a slower start than usual is because their coach finally did something that he's like never done. And that's actually play some like young guys consistently. Like
Yeah,
Max
that's
Holmes
true.
is 19 and he gets a game every week now, no questions asked, really. Brad Close is
And
23, gets a game every week. Jake Kolodjasny's now entering his prime, 26. Tyson Stengel, 23 years
Stengel,
old.
yeah.
Zach Guthrie is 23 and he gets a game a lot now. And you got the other one, Sam DeConning, or Coning rather, is 21 years
Oh,
of age.
he's looked pretty good.
Yep. Quinton Narkle is, I mean, still not getting a consistent game, but he's 24 years of age. They're a lot younger than what I think a lot of people are giving them credit for.
Yeah, it's just like the automatic Geelong are old that you
Yeah.
get from everyone, no matter what, regardless of who they're playing. But you are right, especially Max Holmes. He's had a great start to the season, I reckon, and he's only 19, like you said, so he could be a really good player.
Mm. So, yeah, that's why I feel like they had that bit of a slow start. But honestly, the Lions are, I think they should tear the Pies to shreds at the Gabba.
Yeah, uh, I want to say they'll win big, like 60 plus, but
I
yeah,
don't
I'm
think
not
that
sure.
it'll probably be like a 30-point win. The game will be close until the third quarter, late third, and then it will just open up.
Yeah, Collingwood could be close throughout the game, but you'll never feel like they're a danger to Brisbane in actually winning.
Yeah. But again, Brisbane are every year probably the overrated team in every top four because they always have the game every so couple of games where they kick like 20 behinds and just play like some absolute shocking footy. And that happens in finals too often than it should. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think the Lions will get this one. The next one, I think, is another extremely comfortable win. And that is the Western Bulldogs over North Melbourne. Can I just say, though, the Kangaroos did look a whole lot
Oh,
better with Davis
so much
Uniacke
better.
back. Like, as soon as they
Yeah.
got him back, they looked like their midfield was a lot better. They finally gave Larky, like, another guy to actually help out. Like, everyone thought
Mm.
Coleman Jones or Cherry was going to be that guy. No, It's Jack Zabel.
Jack Zabel.
It's Jack Zabel. And I feel like their forward line moved a lot better. Larky didn't play good, but I think people got to realize that Larky is used to being the only forward against 6 defenders. Like, you finally give him some help. Of course, he's not going to play well because there's another option there. But the Doggies, they need a big percentage booster. It's at Marvel Stadium. And you would think, because here's the thing, the Bulldogs have one of the worst backlines in the league, and that's why they've lost nearly every game, is because their backline gets absolutely torn apart. But here's the thing, the Doggies forward line is the North Melbourne's forward line is that bad, probably one of the worst in the comp, that you would think the backline being this bad is not really in the equation for this game. So you would just expect the Dogs midfield and forward line would just tear North Melbourne apart.
They have to blitz them through the middle. Like Josh Bruce, I'm pretty sure kicked 10. It was this game last season on Good Friday. They should be absolutely demolishing them. Despite how North responded with a better game this week, you'd have to go the Dogs by a fair margin. As we said, their backline, we've been saying it for weeks, it is horrible compared to other backlines, compared to forward lines, and it's a reason that I'm not reading too much into our game this week. I'm obviously still happy we got the win, but the fact that if you can actually get your hands on the footy and move it forward, you're probably going to kick goals against the Dogs, but that shouldn't matter this week, you wouldn't think, and they really should be beating North by a fair margin.
Is the Dogs backline the worst in the game? Or would that go to maybe North Melbourne? Because you think North Melbourne's backline would be one of the worst in the league as well. I mean, it was for a while, but now they've got players like Aiden Core on that back, which is making me feel like it's a little bit better.
Yeah.
It's not. The reason McDonald's there too. He's a extremely underrated player for a long time.
Yeah. The reason that, like, I wouldn't go as far to say the Dogs backline is the worst in the league, but the reason it's so prominent is because they're such a good team that everyone expected to be top 4 again. So when a team can be scored against or exposed that easily when they're supposed to be that good, that's why it means so much. But yeah, I'd probably say North, they've got a better backline than North, you'd reckon, just because so. North have like Mackay and
Mackay's there, that's true.
Yeah, and that's it. So
people are going to come in the comments and be like, how can you say the Dogs backline is one of the worst in the game when they've got Caleb Daniel and old mate? What? Jesus, I've had a brain fart. What's the other guy?
Bailey Dale?
But here's the thing about those two players. They get a lot of the ball, but guess what?
They're not
They don't defend. They don't defend.
At all.
They collect disposals in. And here's the thing that you'll notice when they played against Richmond that no one talks about. The Dogs overused the ball for about 60 to 100 extra disposals a game. They just kept hand passing it for no reason.
This is what I said in the group chat. Like 5 minutes after the game, I'm like, it's all right. The Dogs players will all be happy. They all got 30 touches because they did. They don't, like, you'd think people that don't watch the game and they check the stats, they think, oh, how did the Dogs lose this? Look at all their guns getting all these touches. But yeah, they had like probably 100 more disposals than us, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
but obviously it didn't matter.
And Dion Prestia just tore the Doggies.
Changed like the game.
Jack McRae probably had an extra 20 disposals more than Prestia did, and Prestia was still a better player than what like all these couple of dudes were. They just keep hand passing it to themselves and welcoming pressure. And there's got to be some type of coaching involved in this. Like, how does Bevo not get ever talked about with how much the Dogs overuse it and like how their backline is consistently bad? Like, I don't get it.
And like you said, people will think that their backline's good because Dale and Daniel get all those touches. But you'd think, like, Bevo got shown on the camera a fair few times and he looked frustrated. So I hope it's something he's addressing, that, you know, all these touches don't matter if you're just welcoming all that pressure, as you said.
Yeah.
But that's regardless of this game anyway, because the Dogs will win.
they need Sam Darcy to play very
Yeah,
quick
that's
because they
true.
just need a key defender. And who even cares if he's young? Just get some time into him. Like, your backline is that bad. I don't know.
Yeah.
They should get the win. Next one, very interesting game. West Coast versus Sydney. Probably the first one where
Ooh.
I'm not too sure who's going to win this, because I'd like to say, here's a statement by me. Pencil Adam Simpson to a 5-year contract. Make
Yeah.
it happen. He should be
He's
the
been
coach for the
so
future.
impressive this
He
year.
wants to rebuild this team, and they've got so many young players. He's playing all of these young players. He's not scared to do it, and he gave second opportunities to players like Patrick Naish, who has been an
And
absolute gun for him.
yeah, like younger players like Xavier O'Neill, he played a couple games for them last year. He played really well this week. It's crazy, like the amount of pressure that was on Adam Simpson heading into the year, and how the things that have happened, the COVID or whatever, either way, he's really impressed and completely flipped it around.
Yeah.
So they have to sign him on, you'd reckon?
Yeah, well, if John Longmire's getting 5 years, and he didn't even at the time look like he was extremely keen on a rebuild back then.
No.
Adam Simpson's a guy that actually is extremely keen on changing this list, and he loves playing these young guys. You'd think he'd get the signing plus. Okay, here's a question for you. Who do you reckon second in disposals for the West Coast Eagles right now? 2 behind first.
What, for the whole season?
Yeah, for the whole season.
Alex Witherden, if he's played every game, because he just racks them up.
Alex Witherden is 4th.
Oh.
Patrick Naish is 2nd, 21 a game, 84 disposals for the season, and he kicked his first goal for the Eagles. Legitimately, if the Eagles have the injuries all year, Naish could finish top 10 in their BNF. Like, right now, he's top 10 in their BNF, and their injuries are not going away.
Yeah,
there's no reason why this random kid could not finish. Like, they've got something going on, and they could have a top pick this year. And they can still hit the reset button, and there'll be a free agent or two that wants to sign with them.
Yeah, you'd think so, being the biggest club in WA.
Yeah, and I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of changes. I think this could be Kennedy's last year. Darling, I wouldn't be surprised, was a surprise name on the move this year, because the way the whole thing with him in Western Australia was handled,
it
seemed so odd.
It was off. Yeah.
It didn't seem like he really even wanted. I mean, when he wasn't vaccinated, he still wasn't training.
Yeah, and apparently he didn't have any contact with the players or something like that.
And when Liam Jones wasn't vaccinated, he was still training, like, outside of the AFL and stuff.
Yeah, it's weird. I definitely think, as you said, I could see him at another club, especially with all the changes at West Coast. And you're right about Kennedy. I think it almost should be his last year. He's still kicking the goals. But yeah, every time he's touching it, he's kicking a goal, I reckon.
Yeah. And then you've got there are so many players. Like, there's going to be like 10 players that request a trade to the Eagles or Fremantle this year, I reckon. Like, we already know that this free agency is probably going to be the biggest in AFL history. Like, it's already leading up to be. Logan McDonald's the one I've always been like consistently talking about. He just does not get a game at Sydney, and he's like going to pick.
Yeah, you'd think if he's healthy, he's going to, now that Buddy's injured.
But there's a rumor Buddy would be looking for another year after this one.
Yeah, I reckon
and you'd
he will play
assume that would be with Sydney. You don't think... I mean, Collingwood would probably come calling again. They did like 3 years ago. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember when Collingwood came out of nowhere?
I can't see him playing. If he weren't to play for Sydney next year, I don't think he'd play at all. But I don't think Sydney will ever say no to him.
But yeah, like the West Coast Eagles, they got so many options, and they're playing Sydney at Optus. You'd assume they'd be really competitive against the Swans.
This could be a really good game. And part of me wants to tip the Eagles, to be honest, to get that huge win at home. I think it could play against the Swans. That if they got that huge win, it'd be crazy. And the Swans weren't too flash this week. Part of me really wants to go with the Eagles.
Yeah. And North Melbourne, they gave they realistically should have that win over North Melbourne. North
yeah,
Melbourne did not deserve to win that game.
yeah. So
So you'd think the Eagles would, I feel like, take a scab out of someone eventually. Like I've heard people still calling them saying they're going to finish last. Mate, I still feel like they've played better footy than the Bombers have so far. They've played better footy than Port.
yeah.
They've played better footy than North, etc.,
Yeah,
etc.
they will not be finishing last. That's for sure. Like they still have some pretty good players in despite their injuries still. So I don't think Sydney are a good enough team as to where I can say like, oh yeah, they'll go over there and get the job done 100%. So I am going to go the Eagles.
I will agree just because I like a good comeback story, and I think it'd
it'll
be
be
cool to
great.
see the Eagles finish like 14th or something and just get a couple wins this season. Just, I don't know, launch into a big off season. Like, I think that's what they're hoping now. And goddamn, pencil Adam Simpson, dude. He wants to be
Yeah,
there.
you've got
Make it
to.
happen. St Kilda versus Gold Coast at Marvel.
Ooh.
Saints have been in a lot of form. I'm going to be tipping St Kilda. They've just been in too much form, and I can't see how Gold Coast are going to handle St Kilda's tolls, especially if
Oh
St Kilda
no.
want to bring back Hayes in. You'd think it would be over because Jesus, they just overpower them with the tolls. Like,
Yeah, well, Ryder's coming out. Well, he might be coming out due to suspension. So Hayes
okay,
would come back in if that was the case. And yeah, you're 100% right. Like, all it takes is Max King to get a hold of a team,
yeah,
and like it completely changes the game. I don't think they will smack them because they smacked Hawthorn this week, and they usually don't smack teams. Like, they put their foot down against Hawthorn this week. And I still think they'll get the win next week, but I could see the Gold Coast putting in a pretty good effort and surprising some people, despite, well, not quite surprising because they did beat the Blues today. But yeah, I will also go the Saints, but I wouldn't bet on it being a big margin.
Yeah, I agree on that. Not really too much to talk about with this game because, like, it's just St Kilda is
It's just
St
a game that'll
Kilda.
happen.
I don't rate them as much as a lot of people. They'll be comfortably in the 4 once I think they beat Gold Coast, but I feel like there'll be a drop soon. I still think they can
Yeah,
make the 8. I think they probably will. With how the AFL is going right now, there seems like there's a lot of teams who are going to drop. Adelaide, GWS, Hawthorn. They're in the 11th, 12th,
100%.
and 13th marks right now. They'll still be competing with West Coast, Essendon, North, and Port and Bulldogs. You think would all scrape some wins. The bottom 6 is going to be, I think, those couple of teams, to be honest. So you think the Saints would make the 8?
Yeah, it's really tough because there's a lot of things that, like, they're the only team that's like flawless so far is Melbourne, and
Yeah.
like you can really pick it basically anything with the rest of the team. So it's really hard to pick the 8 right now.
I'd actually like to point out Fremantle as being one of those potential flawless teams because with the way they've handled their injuries, they've done
Oh
a
yeah,
pretty good job. Other than I think
they're
it was that
young
St Kilda
players.
game. I think
Yeah,
it was
that's
where they kind
right.
of sucked. But
Where Max King got a hold of them.
yeah, but they still don't have a key forward, man. This team could be so good if they had a key forward. Tubbin is
yeah,
there, and then Rory Lobb.
their young players are really doing a lot for them right now. If they did have a key forward, I'd be a lot higher on them.
Yeah.
I could definitely see them sneaking into 7th or 8th if this form continues. Obviously, they haven't got Fife yet. So, yeah, you're right on that.
Well, if they make the 8, they'll have a couple of All-Australian looks there. You've got Andrew Brayshaw, who's averaging 30 this season. Then you've got a guy who's getting better every game, is exploding as a Freo player in Will Brodie,
Will Brodie,
averaging
oh, man.
27 a game. A player who I said Richmond should have looked at not long ago. I said it a
Yeah,
couple years. And Freo were the only ones to give him a go, and look how good he's been.
he had really good signs at Gold Coast, but he just like couldn't, I don't know, he wasn't playing every game for sure. He couldn't break into the team.
No.
But now he's over at Freo and he's absolutely killing it. And I'm really triggered because I had him in my Supercoach team And on the Wednesday, during the day before the first game of the season, I swapped him to Rochelle, and
Are you
it's been biting me
right?
ever since.
Mate, we should also make a little comment about Supercoach. My team scored 1,900, right?
Yeah,
And I was projected to score 2,300. I had like
so was
three
I.
guys get injured and a bunch of players play the worst games of like their career, man.
Yeah,
I had
bro,
Cripps captain as well.
I
Chaos.
got 2-1-4-1, and Mitch Hinge 37,
Yeah, I had
uh,
him.
McDonald from Hawthorn 23, who I accidentally had on the ground instead of Dacos, who scored 123. So I could have had a pretty good score this week, but yeah, a lot of stinkers this week in
Yeah.
Supercoach.
And even Jordan Clark, man, he's averaging 17 a game for the Dockers,
Yeah,
which has been
he's
pretty
kind of going
handy.
under the radar, but yeah, it's good to see him. Obviously, everyone thought that he'd play really well over at Freo, and yeah,
Well, that's one of those teams, but I guess that's a team where we are really rating. I guess we'll talk more about them when we actually. I just realized we're not even talking about them
I
for a
did. Yeah,
tip.
I thought
We've
we were
kind of
talking
gone
about the
off
Freo
track
game.
here, but we'll talk about Adelaide versus Richmond now. And this is a game that is going to decide, I think, both teams how their season is going right now. Whoever wins this game could be a sneaky chance, maybe to compete for the 8, right?
Yeah,
Whoever doesn't, you would think is bottom 6. And let's look at this on the paper. The Richmond Tigers with Dion Prestia, a fit Dion Prestia, are a much better team than the Adelaide Crows are.
Prestia changes our midfield so much. We needed him so desperately. And
Yeah.
I was smiling because of how well we were playing with Prestia in the side.
Did you notice he wasn't kicking more than like 20 meters most of the game? He was very scared.
True.
He was very scared. Here's the thing.
We just need him healthy, bro.
With Dion Prestia out, Richmond have the worst midfield in the game. With him healthy, it's about 14th, 13th. And 14th, 13th can be fine if you've got. I would assume Richmond would have a top 6 forward line in the game. Top 6, most likely. And then their back line.
Well, especially because Bolton and Baker down there.
And when their back line's healthy, you got Grimes and Floston and that. Can be top 6, top 8. But then you're looking at the midfield, which just really destroys it.
Yeah,
completely.
It stinks.
Yeah, but against Adelaide, I know it's in Adelaide Oval, but there's nothing a whole lot that is scaring me right now.
No, Rory Wade doesn't
Adelaide
scare me.
team.
Ben Keys doesn't scare me. I say this, and then one of them will destroy it.
Oh, Ben Keys is one of the best midfielders.
Keys is a gun.
He could be an gun,
but I don't think he'll win them the game. Is what I'm saying. Yeah.
He
other
could
than
be
that,
an Australian though.
Oh yeah, for sure.
32 a game.
As long as he keeps playing like he is right now. But yeah, other than that, they have like Dawson and Crouch who will get their 20 touches. So I'm not too scared of the Crows team, and I think we might be all right.
Whatever happened to Brodie Smith in Richmond? Did you remember that?
Yeah,
Brodie Smith toured Richmond, and like the next day, Shorty extended for 2 years, and we never heard from Brodie Smith ever again.
Yeah, I forgot about that, but I do remember.
In the AFL, when you tour a team, that usually means there is a huge chance you are leaving your team
to that team
to
probably.
go to either that team or another team you've toured.
Yeah.
And he legitimately flew over to Melbourne to tour the Tigers. And I guess the Tigers just backed out of it or something. They just were like,
they must have.
We're cool.
Yeah.
Don't want you anymore. But he's still kicking it at Adelaide, averaging 20. But you'd think our forward line would just over.
You'd hope so.
Yeah.
I'd be real confident if it was at the G. I'd be real confident. But their backline isn't too flash. Like they got Duday, but then like someone else will have, like, we've still got Bolter, we've still got Rewalt, we've still got Lynch. So Duday will take one man. And yeah, I am pretty confident going into this game.
How much better did we look, by the way, with Soldo out of the team? No
Yeah,
Soldo,
which
and you
is
had
kind
Bolter
of,
as the second ruck, and we looked a whole lot better.
yeah, it kind of sucks because I love Soldo, but that's where we're at
Mm.
right now. Like the two rucks worked in 2019, but yeah, going forward, especially now that we've got Bolter, maybe he will come back in
Yeah,
eventually when
eventually
Rewalt
when
goes
Rewalt gets
out.
hurt or something.
But
But if you're another team though,
yeah,
you're licking your lips right now.
yeah, you've got to
Soldo
be because he's a
out,
real solid ruckman.
and man, how many teams though would be wanting Ivan Soldo on their team? Turning
You'd be
26,
thinking,
he'll
oh
be
yeah,
one of the ones that I think gets a lot of attention. And then
yeah,
our
he can
backup
go
Ryan
forward
will be
and kick a
Samson
goal.
Ryan.
Samson Ryan's a beast, bro.
Bro, Samson Ryan got beat by some random tradie in the twos the other week.
Yeah, I was gonna
Some
say,
random
how did
bloke
he
had like
go?
40 disposal, not disposal, 40 hit outs on his freaking head. And he probably is a plumber for a living. It's just tore Samson Ryan apart. But yeah,
Oh yeah,
we're tipping the
we're
Tigers
tipping
here,
Richmond.
right?
Yeah,
I still don't know if the Tigers will make the eight. Like, it's a very tough scheme. You would think a lot of those teams
yeah,
in the eight, besides Collingwood, would be the teams that would most likely make it. Is Richmond
yeah.
the other team? Maybe.
It's it's really tough, and we're one of the teams where, especially because of our fixture, we're not going to know. Like everyone would be expecting us to go over and beat Adelaide. Maybe
Mm,
some people might be going with Adelaide because they played all right. But after that, we've got Melbourne, who I expect to get destroyed by.
you'd
And
think.
then it's like we go over to West Coast after that, I'm pretty sure. So it's going to be tough
Tough.
to read in
Could be a
as to
couple
how good
losses
we're going
there,
to be.
actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'd think
We
we get
just
the
need to
job
get
done in
this win.
Adelaide. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
All right,
Uh,
Giants versus Demons at the MCG. You'd think the D's would lose eventually, but I don't
I
think it's
can't
going
see
to be
it.
this week.
Uh,
Who's going to kick the Giants' goals? Jesse Hogan.
yeah. I really cannot see it. Like I love the Giants club for some reason. I have felt
Always
a
have.
connection to them. But man, they've never done me wrong, the Giants. I think that's why. But
Mm.
I cannot see them being the ones to give Melbourne a loss,
Have you
especially go on.
have you heard what I think they were saying this on like the some version of Footy Classify, whatever the show's called now, Sunday Footy or whatever. Have you heard like how much they were destroying the Giants general manager?
No, I
They were
didn't even
saying
see
that
that.
he giving Cornelio 1 million a year might have been one of the worst decisions like ever. Because in the
Yeah,
3 years since he signed that, he's only played like 5 games, and that's been the couple of recent ones. And now they've lost like a bunch of players like Jeremy Cameron and all them who they could have like overpaid to keep. Like Cameron,
yeah,
I think,
they
is on like
desperately needed
1.2
Cameron.
at Geelong, and they could have like gave him 1.3 or something to stay, and he probably would have taken it.
Yeah, because they're always GWS are always going to have good midfielders, but they needed to keep Cameron to be a worry to a lot of teams, and Cameron's a
Mm.
scary key forward, and yeah, it's just not been right for them, especially up forward after they've lost him.
Other than the Jeremy Cameron situation, they have never had a key forward to work out. Mike
No,
McCarthy looked like the next big thing in like 2017, and then like he got depressed or something, and now I don't even think he's in the game anymore. Last time I checked, he was on the wing at Freo, and
who
now he's
Cam
not even.
McCarthy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays for South Fremantle, I'm pretty sure, in the Waffle.
Okay. Well, there you go. Then you've got Jesse Hogan, absolute bum.
Yeah.
Jonathan Patton.
Oh,
Oh.
we know how that ended up.
Yeah, they've just never had a key forward besides Cameron that worked. And Himmelberg's cool and all, but like Himmelberg
Oh,
shouldn't be a key forward.
no, he's not someone that you should be relying on to kick all your goals.
Nah. They will desperately be trying to get anyone this year. There'll be another team that will heavily look at Ivan Soldo, if anything. They need a
Oh,
number
yeah,
one
you'd think
ruckman
so.
so bad. Bruce
people
was the number
thought
one
that
ruckman for 2
Bruce,
weeks, and now he's done with a suspension.
yeah, people thought that Bruce would be massive for them. He's not like someone that you can rely on either injury or, as you saw, suspension. He's not like a reliable key ruckman because he's never strung together a lot of games in his career. So yeah, you're right. If I was them, especially because of Soldo's ability to go forward, take a mark, and kick a goal, you'd be hoping that they're looking at him.
Yeah. For a key forward, who would they be targeting right now?
What key forward wants to go to GWS?
The doggies low key have a bit of a key forward issue right now because Jamara's in the team right now, but Josh Bruce they're missing him a lot.
Yeah, they're missing Bruce. I wouldn't have thought it, but they're really missing him. Jamara, obviously you need to get games into him, but yeah, it's not completely working out right now. And Bruce, especially because the Dogs, you'd think trying to win now, Bruce definitely suits that a lot more than Jamara.
Jamara would have a lot of offers this offseason.
To go elsewhere.
I think he's contracted to like 2023, isn't he? He signed
there
on,
were
didn't
rumors. There were rumors last season. I don't know if there are any clubs he was linked to, but there were definitely rumors that he was
the one.
leaving. Oh, yeah.
There was so many rumors of Collingwood, and they'll come back. Collingwood have to come back. They need a key forward, even if it is to play in the twos to develop.
Yeah, you're
the
right.
Missing part of their game.
Yeah, Jamara could be huge for them if Jamara ends out to be the player that he's supposed to be.
But I feel like the Doggies, if they're going to trade Jamara, screw the pick, bro. Go get a defender. Go get someone that can defend. Like, surely, bro, look at the Pies. If the Pies want to, if they want Jamara, man, they have so many defenders in the ranks. Like that Magin bloke, he looks tough. And you might be like,
Magin.
why would you trade Jamara for Magin? You probably wouldn't, but it's just an example of go get someone.
Yeah, Magin is a solid defender, and obviously you wouldn't straight up trade Jamara for him, but definitely see what you're getting at.
But yeah, GWS, they're gonna get pretty pumped by the D's, you would assume, right? I think we're on the same page there.
I've just had a look at GWS's next game. I think they'll get beaten by Melbourne, but they've got St Kilda the week after, and you'd think that would be
Manuka Oval.
Yeah, up in Sydney. So you think that would be where they bounce back, I guess.
Yeah. Next one, I've got an interesting tip here. Carlton versus the Power. The Power have to win a game.
Eventually.
And the Blues have been too cocky for their own good. They crumbled without Patrick Cripps, and I doubt Will Setterfield will fill his shoes. The Power will get the win for their first game.
Yeah, I'm inclined to go with you, but I don't want to keep tipping the Power. I tipped the Power this week. I don't remember if I did on the video, but I definitely did in my footy tips. That went pear-shaped, but I would love to see Carlton get knocked down a peg.
Do you know how many players the Port Adelaide Power have played so far this year?
How many?
31.
Woo, already.
31 players.
Damn.
Wow.
And they are missing Aaliyah and Dixon, but you can't blame all their troubles on that, I guess.
No.
Connor
Rosie's averaging 12 a game.
Yeah, Rosie's been bad. Zach Butters started the season well. I mean, as we said a couple of times already, they rely on Travis Boak, and Travis Boak is their man, and he's an old man, and he gets it done for them, but they're not getting any. He's not carrying them to any wins, which you can't expect. But
Jesus, Travis Boak is averaging 35 a game.
Yeah, he's a gun. But Ollie Wines. Well, he got injured. He was sick, but man, if they had Wines, I would probably go. I might still go Port, to be honest.
You got to back him in. They've got to win eventually.
They have got to win. Like, everyone's expectations have been adjusted at this point. We're not expecting Port to go top 4, but they've still got a decent team. They've still been a good team in seasons past, and they've just got to win one.
You would think that if they lose this game, Ken Hinkley probably gets the sack nearly after
Yeah.
0-5. Surely that is irrefusable. In the NBA,
Yeah,
like Ty Lue got sacked up when he went 0-5 with the Cavs, remember? And that's an 82 game season.
And I think it was Tom Jonas. He said, I don't want to play for another coach. Well,
Oh
it's
my
time the
God.
players start acting like it, I
And
guess.
bro,
Because
Port Adelaide have an assistant coach who's been trying to become a coach for so long. Michael
Yeah.
Voss, man, he's been trying to be a coach for so long in the AFL. Oh wait,
It would be funny if Voss sent Hinkley out of a job with this one.
oh wait, hold on a second. Who are they going to hire now as their coach? Brendan Gale or something? What's his name? Brennan Lade? Remember?
Oh,
He was at Richmond. He's at Port now, I think.
yeah. Oh,
What a bum. We fired that, bro.
it's not looking good for Port or Ken Hinkley if they lose.
No, not at all. I mean, Clarko's looking for a new job.
Yeah, would he go down to Port
Go
Adelaide?
live in the city of churches, you know?
Yeah, the greatest city in the world, as they call it.
Yeah. Oh, true. All right, we've got Essendon versus Fremantle now at Marvel. Bombers to bounce back, I think. You'd think they could get a win here.
Yeah, I want to.
We've
But,
talked Freo up a lot, but Freo still don't have 5. And the Bombers need to, like, get on the board.
Yeah, well, they got on the board today, but
Yeah.
I expected them to win more convincingly against Adelaide, to be honest, at home. Peter Wright, he's having really good spurts. He's kicking a fair few goals, which is what they need, I guess. Just the players around him need to go. Oh, it's tough. I think Freo are definitely the better team.
I agree.
But I actually might go Freo. I might go Freo to just hold on against them, and it'll be heartbreak for Essendon. So, yeah, I will go Freo, I reckon.
I'll go for the Bombers just to be a little bit different. Then we got Hawthorn versus Geelong. Hawthorn can sit their ass down. Geelong are going to whack Hawthorn at the G.
Oh, it'll be funny if they absolutely smack them. They got smacked by the Saints. They were confident. There were talks that they would be going for the finals after the first 3 rounds, after the first 2 rounds. Man, I can see them getting smacked. I think they will get smacked, but that'll be funny.
I don't know why I've grown such a hatred on Hawthorn this season. Like, I don't even
like
really
Hawthorn.
care too much about them, but this season, something has pissed me off.
Yeah.
You know, I had them in last, and they came out and won the first 2 games.
Yeah, and smacked Port when people still thought Port were good. Yeah, they're gonna win the Cats, and you'd think they win real convincingly, and Sam Mitchell and the Hawks will be straight back down to earth at the bottom of the ladder. You'd think.
Good. I had them last, and I hope they finish last because I don't want to be wrong.
I didn't have them last before the season. I don't think I might have. No, I don't think I did because I like Hawthorn. But yeah, they're not going for the top 8.
I hope not.
No, definitely. It'd be funny if they won, though.
Yeah. So we have a couple of teams actually rising this week and potentially a couple of teams falling. It's going to be an interesting week. We'll see what happens. I think here's a underline. If the Tigers lose against the Crows, they're not making the 8. That's my big, bold call.
It's a must win to get the win on the board because the wins are not going to come too easy because any team could lose to any team, obviously, but especially us this year, you don't quite know what you're going to get. So, it is must win.
For Richmond to have that good of a forward line, one of the best in the AFL, like, severely at times could be a top 3 in the game. And some people might be like, top 3? You're only saying that because you're a biased Richmond fan or something. Bro, Shea Bolton, 10 goals on the season. Lynch 10. Lynch 10. Noah Bolter 8. Matthew Parker has been a jet this season. Liam Baker kicks a goal and has 20 a game.
Castagna will kick a goal.
Yeah.
We've still got Jack.
It's too good of a forward line to like maybe
down there. So
make
yeah, our forward line is really solid. Our defense will be real good once we get Grimes and Vlossum back, which I can't wait for. But they held up the young backline. Ben Miller looks super composed. I love him back there. Because we're getting the games into him. Tarrant, whatever so far.
Tarrant can piss off, bro. Tarrant's been like our worst player in the last couple games, and that's facts.
Yeah, I was real happy with him after the GWS game, but after that, not so much.
No,
we'll see this
played
week.
A good game other than that. Cochin's a gun.
Cochin has been great. We need him to play well for our midfield to play well. We did before we got Prestia back, but as long as Cochin can fight in there, we'll be all right. Must win for sure. And I hope we get it done.
Very interesting. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching this video. Please make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, this and that. Comment your thoughts and opinions. What are your tips down below? And I guess we'll see you guys next time. Goodbye. Through the wastelands, through the highways, and